So in C language you have variables. Variables means that you create one variable, you give name, and then you store some value into it. So variable is actually name given to a memory location. Whatever you are storing, that will be stored in your primary memory. And when in primary memory you have to give name to that particular memory location. So you can identify your memory location in two ways. Either you can have the addresses, that from which address to which address this value is stored, or you can give your name to those addresses, that this address is storing these values and name given to this address is this variable name. So these are the variable names given to the memory locations for storing values. So here when you are writing variable names, so what are the things which you need to consider? Because you cannot write variable name according to your requirement. You will definitely write according to your requirement, but there are some limitations, that your variable name should be like that, it should be written like that, and you cannot have these things as a variable name. So these things you also keep in mind when you are assigning name to any memory location for using the data. Okay, so here your variable name may contain letters, digits, and underscore. With these combinations, you can create any variable name according to your requirement. First character of your variable name must be letter or underscore. Means your first letter of means your first character of the variable which you are defining, that can be letter, alphabet, or underscore, but it cannot have digit. So if you write digit, then it may create problem or it will give you syntax error. Case matters. If you are writing value and if you are writing value, both are same, but one is having capital V and another one is having small v, so they will be treated differently. So whenever you are writing the variable names, you have to keep these things in your mind. After that, C keywords cannot be used as variable name because they have already been taken by the programming language. You cannot use them as your variable name. For example, printf, we have discussed that printf is keyword in C programming language. So you cannot use printf as your variable name. You cannot use int as your variable name. You cannot use char as your variable name. You cannot use double as your variable name. I think it is clear. So let's see some exercise here. If you write your variable name like this, then it is okay. Because what is our rule? That your variable can start with the alphabet or the underscore. So it is starting with alphabet and there is no problem. Okay, so digits, it has used only alphabets. This one is also okay. Here underscore we have used. This is also okay. It is a single character name which we have given. This is also okay because here you have 2 cross 3, 2x3, not cross. Okay, so no problem here, no problem here. But if we come here, that it is starting with underscore, it is combination of digits and number alphabets. So it is okay to write, it is not a problematic, but as a programming instructions or guidelines, we try to avoid writing these type of names. Okay, then you have this variable name you have given, so this will also not be accepted. It is also illegal, that this type of name you cannot give, because here this character is coming which is not acceptable. It is not a letter, it is not a digit, and it is also not a underscore. Then you have double. It will also not work. Reason? Because double is the keyword in programming language. Then you have this 25 long age. It is also illegal according to the rule, because 2 is your digit and variable names cannot start with your digit name, means with any digit. Here also it is acceptable, but it should not be done. Reason is that printf is actually keyword, so anything which is considered as a keyword, any combination of that thing you should avoid. So that is the situation here. So these are the things that when you have your real world information, you want to first identify, you have to first identify that what is this, what is the type of this information. If it is integer, it is double, it is real number, it is character, or it is a boolean, okay, or a simple situation. So then accordingly you decide that this will be the data type of this language. After that you decide about the variable name, and when you are deciding your variable name, you have to give the priority to the rule and regulations. According to that, you have to discuss your, or you have to write your variable name to represent, to store that information in your memory. Okay, so these are some coding guidelines which we need to understand. So what is this, that what we can do and what we should not do, these are the two things. So in do's, first we complete do's. Variable name should be descriptive. So for example, you are trying to store roll number of the student, so you should write roll number completely. You should not write r as a variable name. So as descriptive as it is, it will be good always, because when you are writing your program, you are not writing that program only for yourself, you are writing as a part of the team. So if you are giving very complicated name to your variable names, the other person who is part of your team will not understand, or even the evaluator or the teacher or faculty members, they will not understand. So you have to make everything as easy as possible to your audience, and that you can only do when you are giving a descriptive names, not very small names or complicated names. Follow standard naming conventions. So sometimes what happens, you are giving the descriptive names, but still your name is not following a coding convention. So all the names which you are giving, they should follow some standards. Okay, so I will discuss that thing when I discuss the practical part of it. How, what do I mean about that? Then do it this consistently for entire software development. So any software any software you are developing or anything you are developing, the naming conventions or the rule which you have in your mind, they should be descriptive, standard, and you should follow all of them in all the naming conventions of your program. Whatever you write, you should follow that thing. Okay, so like that. For example, you are starting some variable name with underscore, but after that you are not starting with underscore. So if you are starting one variable name with underscore, then all variable name you should start with underscore. So that is the guideline or suggestion here. Like, avoid variable names. What these are the things which we should not do when we are giving name to our variables. So avoid variable names starting with an underscore. Okay, although it is allowed, but you try to avoid it in your real world practices, because underscore names are given when you are developing something for C language itself, and it will be used as a header file or something like that. So for internal mechanism, we always use underscore, but in real world software development or our program development, we do not use that thing. So start your name with we can say with alphabet only, okay, not with underscore. Often used by operating system and easy to miss, as I discussed with you. So avoid using uppercase only variable names. So do not use all the variable names in uppercase, okay, because uppercase represents some meaning. You write preprocessor directives in uppercase always. You do not write your normal variable names in uppercase. So we should not do these things, although they are allowed, but they are avoided. Okay, so whatever we have done up to this, so I'll just give you some understanding so that you can understand practically whether it is right or wrong. Okay, so I'm sharing this screen. So we have discussed so I'm writing, suppose I want to store roll number of student and marks of the student, and I want to print those marks. This is the very simple program I am writing here. Okay, so let's do it. So what can be the integer type, means roll number type. So basically I consider it as an integer. So I will first write the data type of our information. My information is roll number. What can be the possibility, which type of data represent roll number? Integer number. Okay, so I am just writing here. So what are the ways available to me? These are the ways. Roll number, I can write it like this. All the instructions in C programming language, they must be terminated by semicolon. Next is marks, percentage. So percentage can be your float value, or you can say real value. Float value we say in terms of programming language from the perspective of programming language, and real value we say from the mathematics perspective. So float, and then you write percentage. So these two things I have written. I want to print these things. Printf. You can see here that name has changed because it is a function. So roll number printf percentage. This slash n I am writing just to print the next output on the next line. Okay, so if you see this program, and if we run it, then it is okay. According to the rule, it is okay. So it is printing. There is no problem according to the rule, because we have declared variable name according to the rules which we have discussed. Now, if I write it like this, it is giving me error. What it is saying? That invalid suffix roll number on integer constant, because you cannot start your variable name with integer. So you should avoid it. Okay. Now also it is okay. It will run. Correct. Now if I do this, then again it is a wrong, because it is not allowed. Next. Now if I do it like this, it is okay, but it is not advisable, because I don't know why I am creating this variable r. I know because I am writing the program. If other person reads this program, that person does not know why I have created these variables, although they will work fine, no problem. Clear? But I always try to avoid it. Okay. So roll let's see what happens.
Sorry.
Yes.
To interrupt, sir. After this program, we can take a break of 10 minutes and then we can proceed after the break.
Okay, I have to end this class just now.
You can complete this program and then you can take a break of 10 to 15 minutes.
So now you see that I have used here these underscores, but it is working fine because underscore is allowed. If one underscore is allowed, then any number of underscores are allowed. But you see that this writing variable name like this is not looking good, and it is also not advisable. Okay, so whatever nomenclature you follow everything according to that thing. So what is the best nomenclature which we follow nowadays? That you write, if you have two parts in your variable name, then you write first one with the small letters, then start whenever new variable you see, new word coming you see, then you start with N capital. If I write of student like that, so it will help the person who is reading this program when you have written to understand why this variable has been created. Okay, so whenever you have something new, some new variable is coming, then you can use this naming convention also. Apart from that, you can also follow this naming convention also, no problem. This is also okay. Okay, but if you are following this naming convention, then all the variables you should follow like this only in the program. Otherwise, it will create confusion and will be problematic for the person who is reading or working with you. So this is the way you write your name for the variable.